The Barbican was built at the end of the 15th century to upgrade city defenses from this spot, from the northern entrance. Why? Because if the city was actually attacked, invaded in medieval times, although there were 7 points of entry, it was always happening from here, always from the northern entrance. Look here on the map.
Krakow, Poland, a southern city near the border of the Czech Republic. It's known for its well-preserved medieval core and Jewish quarter, and its old town. This is St. Mary's Basilica, a 14th century Gothic church. It's early December and we're here for the Christmas markets. Nightfall comes pretty early by around 5 p.m. The entire city glows with a mist that falls over the mass transit as people are bustling to get their dinner. Monument to the unknown Polish soldiers killed in World War I in the remnants of a Saxon palace. It's the changing of the guard in Warsaw at the tomb of the unknown soldier, teenage soldier who was killed in the First World War.
So for saying something bad about the police was killed. Or somebody was killed, Leib Michael Hochmann, was killed for refusing to take part in forced labor and an attempt to escape. So that was the daily life here in Warsaw, but most of Warsawians didn't want to leave the city. My family, for example, was saying that they didn't want to leave because they knew that if they leave their apartment, somebody else will move in, will probably steal everything that is valuable, so they didn't want to leave their life belongings. And the resistance movement was trying to target some Nazis, but there was a price for that. On this announcement, in German, it says that 2 Germans were killed, and as a revenge, 100 Polish people were killed. So there was this ratio 1 to 50 here. It was at least 1 to 10.
My mother's parents emigrated to the United States in the early 1900s from Poland. They spoke Polish in the home, and she didn't learn English until she went to school. As a child, she taught me to count to 10 in Polish and say some other phrases. It was kind of neat to recognize the numbers. The green building is the building of science and technology. Looks like it's just behind the theater. And we're here at the Christmas market in Warsaw.
How's everybody doing? We're out here enjoying the cool weather, seeing Poland, enjoying our Christmas market tour. We'll see you down the road.
No bo nie wiem czy jak... Nie, no jedna pani kupuje, ale my tu ale składkę robimy, żeby było taniej. 200, dobra.
Like this could be a Charleston Chew Bar type of marshmallow thing. We're in Warsaw at the grocery store. We've got plenty of pickled herring. It's interesting because not all of it is in cream sauce. Beautiful smoked salmon. It smells lovely in here. I'm gonna go to the fresh bakery section. The prices are about a 25% conversion to euro. So something that cost 44 Polish Slotkies, Slotska, is around 11 euro. Here's something I know, Summersby. They're probably, that's probably per bottle, because that'd be about 1.25 euros. And they're kind of large bottles. We have plenty of paprika chips and flavored chips, green onion and cheese. That Jim Beam is about 30 euros for the bottle. Advent calendars, so cute.
Price?
Nope. Yes, 9.50. Gee, Jim, is that pork knuckle sizzling?
It sure is. I think it's going to be a little different than the IKEA one we get in Portugal. And I would like to point out to all my viewers that we have horseradish, which doesn't exist in Portugal.
We will take a search around to try to find some of the tiny gnome sculptures. Over 800 gnomes you can find throughout the city. Started as a protest. Cute little guys. They're fun to look for. We have arrived in Wrocław, Poland, for the Christmas market. Saw a couple of gnomes. Here's my favorite gnome.
Hey, how's everyone doing? We could also pronounce this as Wrocław. And who knows, there's other derivatives that we're getting wrong. But it's supposed to be one of the biggest markets in all of Europe. So we're just arriving now. We'll let you know all about it. See you later.
At this Christmas market in Wrocław, Poland, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's pretty dark. This is some setup.
It is Friday night, so everybody's here, it seems.
It's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'm gonna put the sausage on it. Or
Was having a whole conversation?
what is it? Another place? Zeppelis. Except they put sour cream and cheese in it.
Not pierwszy.
Garlic, butter, sour cream.
And then does she put these other toppings on it over here?
Yeah, cheese. And they can put on maybe
She's
pork or mushroom or onion. You pay there.
This was kind of fun. All over Poland, there are fresh flowers available at all of the markets, on all the street corners, and some of them even stay open all night long. So fresh flowers are very popular in Poland.
City for most of its history. Its construction started in the 13th century. The oldest part is now underground, and then through the years this building was evolving. We can see this part is like Gothic style, medieval style, but the windows would be renaissance. So they were changing some stuff on the way, especially during the times when the city was prosperous. So that is an interesting message. To be honest, we love flowers in Poland.
That building on the left was built in the 1930s, and all these are original. On the square in Wrocław.
During the Second World War, Polish people moved here, or they came here by their own will. They came to like totally alien city for them. It was a German city with a German architecture, monuments, names of the streets, advertisements on the walls, and they didn't feel here like home. Polish-German relations after the end of Second World War, they were terrible. They were like the worst ever imaginable, and people were not feeling.
Inside the market in Wrocław, Poland. It was built in 1908. The construction was unusual for the time. There's lots to see here. Got some beautiful flowers and lanterns. Looks like we've got grave blankets here. Today is December 6th, which is kind of like a small Christmas. Santa will often leave small gifts on this day.
We'll say another and I'll be, oh, God.
Second largest river in Poland, in Wrocław, just outside the market.
Heidi ho. Welcome to.
Wrocław.
Yeah, what she said.
Wrocław.
Poland.
You want to win that car?
I don't know if there's a drawing or if it's just here.
Wow, vidi Iko, mečki.
At this food booth, they're smoking the salmon over an open fire right next to where they are assembling the smoked salmon with any type of toppings that you would like to have. Good evening from Budapest. We're waiting for the trolley. And taking a look at the castle across the river, down the trolley tracks. Keep an eye out for this trolley that just arrived. Trying to get them to wave.
I think the next one's us. Heidi ho from Budapest, Hungary. We've arrived for the Christmas markets and to eat our weight in Christmas market food. And we're off to a good start.
Good morning, Budapest. It is a beautiful, cool morning. We just popped into this little cafe, and they had some really nice looking pretzels and cinnamon buns, poppy seed buns, cheese and olive Danish. Beautiful statue over there, and beyond it you're seeing a lot of fog on the river. And then there's this beautiful building. I'm pretty sure that this is the Parliament building. We've got a lot of construction going on over there. It's about 40 degrees Fahrenheit today, and it's going to go up to a high of about 46. But you can see everyone's dressed pretty warm because the dampness makes it feel a lot colder. I think what Jim bought was a pretzel in there. We're going to have to find out. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
What'd you buy?
I got myself a pretzel-looking pretzel. We saw these in Poland, but they're the size of a dinner plate or a platter, and they're super thin. Now this is what we're talking about. This is a pretzel.
And?
I can't wait till Germany. They put these right on your table and you just pull them off a tree. See you later.
Okay, so let me start this tour with a question. What's your first impression of Budapest? Architecture. Do you like it? Yeah. Oh yes, everywhere. Everywhere. Yes. Next year we have the elections. They have to show that they were. Yeah, but sure. They make a lot of new constructions here. Yeah, and I would say that Budapest is unique for two reasons. The first is that this is the only real metropole city in all Hungary. Budapest has 2 million inhabitants. Just to tell you guys, the second city in all Hungary has just 200,000 inhabitants. So I would say that there is just a school subject. Imagine the situation that we were in a classroom with a teacher that was who teach us Russian without knowing the language properly. Territory, and after the First World War we lost 2/3 of the country. But how was it possible? So how did it happen to a kingdom, to a powerful country, to lose 2/3 of the country? Because that's insane. But it was possible because when we were together with Austria and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, we had a great relationship with Austria, but there were other member countries in the empire, and basically those are the countries that are bordered with Hungary today. And we couldn't have a great relationship with them because we had other interests, and we were connected with Austria.
So we're at the restaurant called Pipa in Pest. Not Budapest, we're in Pest. And I got the chicken over the egg dumplings. You can see it's steaming. These are the pickled hot peppers. This is the homemade paprika sauce that's spicy. And what dish did you order?
I got the pork tenderloin over potatoes, Hungarian potatoes. And we're right across the street from the Grand Market.
Enjoy.
Enter the palace down here. You just have guards inside here. but in 1993 it got repurposed as a memorial to the victims of war and tyranny. So now inside here you have a statue by arguably one of Germany's most famous artists, a woman by the name of Kathi Kollwitz. Now Kathi Kollwitz was born in a small town in Prussia. She came here to study printmaking and art, but she had a very difficult life. When the First World War broke out, her youngest son was hiking in Switzerland. He came back and he wanted to go fight for his country, but he was underage and his father denied him the right to go to battle. But then he convinced his mother Kathi to let him go, and then he was killed 10 days later in battle. And this obviously led to a lifetime of depression. So inside here, you've got every 100 meters you're tripping over Christmas market. This one is Charlie Delta. There's 12 checkpoints in Berlin. Well, I'm actually going to split this into two parts. So before the break, I'm going to talk a bit about the division Germany, talk about Checkpoint Charlie a little bit, and then after the break, we're going to talk a lot more about the division of Berlin and the East and Western division. So to kind of understand about how Checkpoint Charlie came about, we go and look about what happened after the Second World War, where Germany got divided up. We have the Potsdam Conference where Truman and Stalin and Churchill came to divide up parts of Germany because they now won the war, but now they need to win the peace. It's a very difficult thing to do. Imagine you've been on a battlefield 2 months before, you're taking aim at your enemy, and now you're having them getting back to like a normal way of life. So it's a very kind of difficult process to do. And so what they decided to do is actually bring down and kind of separate Germany. So the East was given to the Soviets for their contribution for the war. Also for them is a great buffer zone as well, so Germany would not invade them again. And then the West of Germany was divided up for the Western forces, America, Britain and France. So not long after you had the carving up of Germany, the Iron Curtain came down. And then you had the beginning of the Cold War. It's called the Cold War because things never really got heated up. The closest it ever came to was what happened on this street down here. So this line of bricks right here, that we're looking at right here, look at this line of bricks, this indicates where the Berlin Wall is run down. Berliner Mauer, Mauer meaning wall in German. So these are still that's West Berlin just down here. What happened one evening though is in 1961, an American general wanted to come down here from West Berlin into East Berlin to see a theatre performance. Now he'd been let into East Berlin many times before and he was never asked for his paper. Apart from on this one evening where then he was asked for his papers, and for some reason this upset him greatly. So much so that he went back to the army barracks and he talked to the other American generals, and then all of a sudden the Americans were rolling their tanks down here. The Soviets saw what was going on and they started rolling their tanks down this way. And then one big standoff that lasted for 16 hours. Thankfully they're able to kind of back away from one another, otherwise there are dire consequences to the world. This was at the time of mutually assured destruction, nuclear war essentially, so thankfully they were able to come to some agreement.
We're in Berlin today and we came up to the Christmas market up by the palace. We took the train, the U6, then we transferred to the U7 and we took it up to Richard Wagner stop. Easy to remember for obvious reasons.
We're at Charlottenburg Christmas market in front of the Charlottenburg Palace.
And there's the palace in the background. This one looks pretty nice, Jim. It's not too crowded here on, what's tonight, a Wednesday night?
I think it's Wednesday.
Beautiful decorations.
It's not night. It's like 3:30. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's dark. It's not night at all. People are still at work.
We'll see you down the road.
Ja, auf an, ja.
this one.
Welcome to Dresden, Jim.
Heidi-ho. No idea how old or new these buildings are, since Dresden was decimated in World War II. Actually, we had a firestorm. There were so many incendiary bombs dropped on it towards the end of the war.
We'll find out tomorrow.
I guess in our walking tour, they're going to tell us all about it. Left.
Wollt ihr extra Sorgen für die Spieße?
So the breads here are 7, and down there were 5. Jetzt sind sogar so 4. Ich habe auch meine.
I don't know. Go ahead. Go put. No, you go do it because I want to film it.
Fire in the middle. It's called a firestorm because that's what it is. All of the oxygen is sucked away from the center of the conflagration, and because a vacuum cannot exist in nature, powerful winds are generated from all around that converge towards the center. These are winds that are strong enough to hurl people into the air easily.
That are on the roof. The name of this one is Hofkirche, so the court church, or the Church of the Holy Trinity, and it is the Catholic cathedral here in Dresden. Now the question is, what is such a big and beautiful Catholic church doing in the city that used to belong to the Lords of Vatican, the defenders of the Reformation, the protectors of Martin Luther himself? So it goes back once again to Augustus the Strong, like after the bombing and before the reconstruction. Here you have 4 of them.
Now the third into a garden for a while. And then Augustus is strong decided, and he wanted here something unique. So he sent his master builder, Purpleman, he came back, Purpleman designed this. Except the wing on that side, which is a later addition from the 19th century, because originally this was supposed to stay open on this square. Now the original function of this complex was to serve as an orangery, so a place for orange trees. In the summertime, they would put them here in the center. In the winter, they would put them back inside a big gallery that goes all around the place, which was basically
Der Mann gut, ich gucke, was für die Kinder.
Maybe like 5 minutes for you to share one with her. No problem.
Hello.
Ja, ich würd eine kleine nehmen, aber können Sie einfach 5 Euro? Okay, super.
Good evening, Jim. Where are you at?
Well, we just arrived in Munich about an hour ago, and we thought we would start our Christmas market tours at the site of the Oktoberfest. So this is the plaza where they hold Oktoberfest, and they have a Christmassy type market here that we're going to go check out. As you can see, there's a lot of tents, just like at Oktoberfest, and festive lights and lots of people. So it's going to be a good time, I'm sure.
Look at the projections over there on that circus type of tent. That's pretty cool. We got a big crystal dance ball chandelier, a bunch of them. Look, there's even a metro here to get you right to this site for Oktoberfest in October, in the fall, and here for this international fest. Munich, Germany. We love taking the trains. Very efficient. This is way underground. Good morning and welcome to Munich. We are at Marienplatz. This is where we're meeting for our walking tour this morning. And we're going to be meeting at the Dolphin Fountain, which is just behind this booth. The fish fountain, excuse me. And this place is proving to be beautiful. Just in the 10 minutes we've been here, I can't wait to hear about the history of the square and the church and the building and the market. That's my favorite thing about the walking tours. And take a look at this drippy building. Yep. Tell you more about it later.
Whose first time to Munich? Yeah, cool. It's a lovely city. Munich has many names. One of them is the biggest little village in the world. Because although this is a big city, it's not. You know, once you're here, you realize it's tiny, village mentality. 1.6 million people live. How old it is? Finished being built in 1912, but built in neo-Gothic style. Neo-Gothic is simply the revival of Gothic architecture. A good way to spot Gothic or neo-Gothic is in the archways. You can look past the Christmas market, you can see a few of the arches. You see they aren't really round like these, they're more pointed. Pointed was a classic sign of Gothic. It was a lot more safe places. Firstly, he built Linderhof, then he built Herrenchiemsee, an exact replica of the Palace of Versailles, but his third and his masterpiece was Neuschwanstein. The castle Neuschwanstein is world famous thanks to Walt Disney, who travelled here in the 50s. Upon visiting the castle, he was so inspired by Neuschwanstein, he would design Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty castles of this island. Even the one at the beginning of the Disney movies was all of Neuschwanstein. Ludwig was gearing up for his fourth and fifth castle, but it was an expensive hobby and he bankrupted the entire lineage. I think like 720 years of building wealth spent in...
Well, we're in Munich Airport and we're saying goodbye. Between the two terminals, 1 and 2, there's even a Christmas market outside.
You know, we're just a little too early for them to be open, or to be one last sausage for the road.
See you down the road.
Take care.